This is the story of a boy named Daud Campbell, who unexpectedly finds himself at the center of a strange conflict. All the girls around him are fighting to marry him. He takes a deep breath as he stands on the threshold of departure, reflecting on the bizarre chain of events that brought him here. It all began with a survival game, Savior Rising, that thrust him into a world he now has to navigate. At first, the game felt familiar, even fun. He cleared it with a sense of accomplishment, only to wake up the next day inside the very world he had just played through. It doesn't make sense, and the thought gnaws at him, but there's no point in cursing fate. The game hadn't targeted him, and he had no real attachment to the protagonist. Yet here he is, trapped in the body of Daud Campbell, a powerless nobody, a third-rate extra. The Campbell Viscounty, his origin, is a modest farming region scattered with a few minor dungeons across the empire. These details were barely mentioned in the Savior Rising film adaptation, making his identity as a Viscount's son a strange twist. For someone like him to enter the elite Imperial Academy is no small matter, it turns the world upside down. And now, as he sets out for the academy, everything begins. His father looks at him, eyes brimming with tears, and asks if he's truly leaving. Dodd smiles and confirms that he is. During the farewell, his father tells him earnestly that he's the pride of their family, wishing him well and urging him to take care. He warns Dodd not to cause trouble at the Elephant Academy, where the nobility gather, and advises him to stay out of the spotlight. After saying goodbye, he checks his status: strength, agility, endurance, luck, and authority, all rated F. He has no skills, proficiencies, or special gift. He reflects seriously, even experienced players would find such a low start laughable. Still, he knows what must be done. His mission is to enter the academy and be assigned to a class. If he fails, the academy will spiral into chaos under the villains' violence. He decides to keep a low profile, avoid attention, and not try to raise his family's standing. He reassures his father once more, then embarks on this new chapter, wondering whether the game's main character will handle things alone. But he quickly realizes survival in this world requires staying invisible. His academy life has just begun, and he's determined to get through it. On the way, he notices a beautiful girl sitting across from him, sipping tea. He watches her, puzzled why she's riding in the same carriage. As he looks closer, he recognizes her, Elnor, feared by all, the final enemy of the game. Only the main character can confront her after reaching peak strength. Suddenly, she turns to him with a serious look, asking why he hasn't responded, if he's curious about something. He quickly smiles, saying she seems kind and beautiful. She's taken aback and asks if they've met before or if he's heard rumors. Flustered, he stammers that he only heard she's tough. She dismisses it, calling him strange. He grins, saying people often say the same about him, then turns his gaze to the window. The scenery is beautiful, but his peace is broken when he sees a boulder rolling toward the carriage. Shocked, he apologizes to her and throws himself forward to shield her. As he does, her necklace glows with strange light. He notes it's always with her. But even with this act, he doubts he'll survive. With his stats, it feels impossible. Suddenly, he wakes in a new position. Her voice reaches him, asking if he's okay. Realizing he landed on her, he quickly apologizes. Calmly, she tells him not to worry, thanking him. It's the first time a man has approached her like that. She understands his intention and says there's no need to apologize. He's stunned, knowing he only leapt at her to use her armor for cover. She then asks for his name. He hesitates but gives it. She smiles, promising not to forget and that she'll repay him. Then, a system notification appears. He has gained the interest of a villain, and the conditions for a special gift are met. He is granted 2 new skills: Desperate Survival and Deadly Charm. He is stunned. Was this triggered by the elephant train journey or something else? Meanwhile, doctors examine the wounded. Thanks to special security, casualties are low. Just as Dodd is thinking about Elnor, another system notification pops up. He has received a new special gift, Fated Attraction. The system explains, the more interest he gains from individuals with unique traits, the more diverse the rewards. He's stunned, muttering that he still doesn't understand what's going on. He recalls that in Campbell Viscounty, no one is neutral, everyone is involved. He wonders if his true gift has unlocked yet and considers checking. Reviewing his stats, he sees the 2 skills. Desperate Survival boosts his stats during critical danger. Deadly Charm helps him gain favor with unique individuals. He considers their implications. Desperate Survival might save him in combat, while Deadly Charm could complicate things. Another system prompt confirms it's easier to attract people with extreme personalities. He's shocked. He remembers the game's unique characters, warriors driven by bloodlust, mages lost in obsession, dangerous mercenaries. These weren't ordinary people, they were divine or unstable, capable of killing within moments. He wonders if it's wise to focus on gaining skills to survive instead. Strangely, his skill ranks are listed with unfamiliar evil tier names. He can't understand them. Lost in thought, he notices the doctor watching him. The doctor asks if he needs a detailed checkup. Dodd politely declines. Soon after, they arrive at their destination. The academy leader greets them, praising the exceptional new students. Dodd recalls the doctor's earlier remark about his traveling with the Tristan princess. The doctor notes he's the son of a viscount with no known ties to her. He adds that he's an alumnus of Elfant and belongs to an unknown noble family. With a serious tone, he asks Dodd if he truly believes the boulder was an accident, targeting only their carriage out of many. Dodd is taken aback. The doctor warns that there are many enemies of the Tristans and Dukes. He advises Dodd to stay away from high-ranking nobles for his own safety. At that moment, another notification appears. A trust-related event with Elnor is set for D2. With a sense of despair, Dodd reflects, whether he likes it or not, he's already caught up in a world full of sharp, calculating players. It's no surprise he could end up the final enemy. Just being near someone like Elnor could mean death. His thoughts are interrupted by someone shouting his name. A group mocks him for spacing out. They call him a country boy and say everyone's already chosen rivals for spring. After the entrance ceremony, real competition begins. They mention his rival is already decided. Dodd panics and runs toward them, saying he didn't want to compete. But he realizes that with everyone else paired up, the only one left must be the strongest. As he runs, he stumbles, and a stunning girl suddenly appears, offering him a hand. He's speechless. It's Elia, the greatest genius in the world. She smiles warmly and asks if he needs help. Dodd is stunned. This girl who will someday become his savior is standing right before him. The scene shifts to a quiet room where a woman sits in silence, pondering the implications and wondering if she's gone mad. She informs her companions that the entrance duels are about to begin and, with curiosity, asks when Lady Tristan will arrive. Just then, Lady Tristan enters the room. The woman calmly asks where she has been and says they need to talk. Tristan casually explains she was finishing some work. The woman, taken aback, sighs in disbelief. She apologizes and says it seems they need to address some matters first. With concern, she asks if anyone has died. Tristan answers in a composed manner, saying not many, just about 12, had died. She explains they had tried to assassinate her. They dropped 2 boulders on the academy training area to make it look like an accident, but she discovered their true identities, and since she was nearby, she dealt with them. The woman listens and then calmly suggests she should have left such matters to the school. She mentions that if Tristan leaves now, she'll have a chance to face Elia, the genius, and Daud Campbell. At the mention of his name, Tristan is shocked and presses for more information about him. The woman notices her reaction and asks how she knows him, explaining that while he seemed unremarkable at first, he's actually quite strange. The scene shifts again, this time to the battlefield. Daud Campbell stands trembling, gripping his sword. Behind him, people mockingly shout for him to go back to his village. Seasoned fighters question how many moves he'll last, with some noting his luck in avoiding injury so far. But as the moments pass, a sense of belief starts to grow. He wonders if this might work in his favor. It's dangerous, but he has nothing left to lose. He checks his system stats. The skill Desperate Survival is ranked, and the system informs him his stats increase during moments of dire need, based on danger levels. Watching the crowd with grim determination, he reminds himself that the villains he must face may be among these nobles. If he survives, he might gain their attention. With this knowledge, he begins to believe survival is possible. Suddenly, Elia speaks, catching him off guard. She bluntly asks if he's truly that weak. Speechless, his mind races with pressure. She says she planned to beat him badly, but seeing how fragile he looks, she might reconsider. She takes a breath and says she saw him with Lady Tristan. She admits her hatred, not just for Tristan, but for her entire house, calling them demons. He listens, realizing this isn't a simple student rivalry. It's a deep family conflict. He clarifies that he merely shared a room with Tristan in passing. She reacts sharply, saying he reminds her of Tristan and irritates her, which is why she was going to hurt him. But now, she proposes pretending to fight. He considers his options and admits the idea is tempting, but if he doesn't get stronger in the next 2 days, he's doomed. The only path to survival is to make himself noticed now. He tells her to go all out. Then, testing fate, he adds that he actually likes Tristan. Shocked, she asks if he's serious. She raises her sword in anger. Internally, he knows he's lying, but it's the only way to push her. He declares, he's just as serious as her hatred. A system notification flashes, deadly charm activated. The villain's interest spikes, and a reward is added to his gift tab. Hearing him, she says she won't hold back anymore. With a fierce glare, she charges, swinging her sword with full force. He barely dodges. She pauses, surprised he evaded it, and warns she'll come at him harder. The system triggers again. Desperate survival activated, X rank. Seizing the moment, he throws a powerful punch, striking her and knocking her back as a flash lights up the battlefield. The crowd is stunned. Daud Campbell, ranked F in every stat, has just knocked down the central character of this world. The scene cuts to an emergency meeting at Elfin Academy. Professors are deep in discussion. One suggests Dodd may be a skilled con artist. The others are shocked by the drastic shift in perception. A senior professor, composed, reminds them Dodd showed no combat ability before the duel, yet somehow defeated Elia Crescent. They all agree the attack was real. A female professor questions what real means. The senior explains that no one could walk away from such a blow unaffected, not even him. He says there's no way someone with Dodd's stats could beat a future war general like Elia. He speculates Dodd may have used an illegal item or outside help. But then suggests another possibility. Dodd might be a rare genius. The female professor nods. It's hard to accept without proof. Elia's sponsor won't stay silent. The academy faces a risk. Ignoring someone with Dodd's potential could be costly. After more discussion, the female professor calmly states that time will tell if Dodd is a fraud or something else. Her colleague asks what she means. She replies that this year's incoming students are unlike any before, so unique they demand special attention. If Dodd is one of them, she believes he'll play a key role in the academy's future. Meanwhile, Dodd's face appears in newspapers under breaking headlines. The world is watching. Some speculate he's the Royal Knight Commander's secret son or the Academy's greatest ever talent. A system notification flashes, gift update. Character info upgraded. Elnor Tristan's relationship level rises to 2. A reward is now available. More notifications follow. Baron Armit Community level 2, 100 points. Viscount Lupin level 1, 50 points. Viscount Ground level 3, 140 points. He reflects. This is how the system works. Community, then interest, then trust. Scrolling, he's surprised to find Elnor has the highest interest level. He wonders why the game's final boss is now so focused on him. Another notification confirms he's receiving gift rewards from her. Then he's granted access to the Tristan sword technique via crates. His eyes widen. This technique belongs to the House Tristan, renowned for its swordsmanship. Another notification. Elia's community level has reached 4, but no rewards are available. This unsettles him. Gifts come from villains with positive interest. Elia fits neither category. Lost in thought, a knock at his door startles him. A voice asks if this is his room. It sounds familiar. The person politely requests to come in. He's stunned. Frustrated, he considers ignoring her. But her voice hardens. She warns she'll break the door down. He yells back, asking if she's lost her mind. Confirming his presence, she politely asks again to talk. Still behind the door, he asks what this is about. She calmly replies that she just wants them to understand each other a little better. Elia walks away. She acted impulsively, chasing someone who clearly didn't want her around. She realizes how pathetic she must have seemed, trying to force a friendship when he hadn't even acknowledged her presence. There's something unsettling about the boy, something that leaves her confused and introspective. Becoming friends with someone like him isn't easy. Lost in thought, she unexpectedly bumps into Elnor. The force knocks the packets she's holding to the ground. Without looking up, Elia instinctively picks them up. As she does, Elnor speaks in a calm but firm voice, noting that Elia should have been more careful and asking if she's hurt. Before Elia can respond, Elnor glances at her face. In that instant, memories come rushing back, her brother telling her to run. A cold shiver runs down her spine as anger rises. She trembles slightly, unsure what to do. Her hand instinctively reaches for her sword. Elnor's calm demeanor seems strange, she doesn't seem to sense the threat. She extends her hand for the packets, still showing no concern. Elia watches her carefully, her mind racing. Maybe Elnor is so confident she doesn't even see Elia as a threat. Finally, Elia hands the packets back, still deep in thought. She wonders if Elnor is subtly saying she's harmless, but the thought passes as her mind shifts to Dodd. She's baffled that he's somehow connected to someone like Elnor. As she walks away, she casually mentions that turning right at the end of the hallway will lead to Daud Campbell's room. Elnor stops her and sharply asks how she knows that. Confused by the hostility, Elia calmly smiles and replies she was only trying to befriend the new students. Elnor's expression hardens. She declares that mingling with the opposite gender is forbidden for new students. Elia, surprised, asks if such a rule had ever been mentioned before. Elnor flatly replies that she just made it, and from now on, Elia is not allowed to visit his room. Elia formally addresses her as president and apologetically asks what her relationship with him is. Walking away, Elnor answers that he means nothing to her, but warns her to remember everything she just said. Elia's mind churns with this new information. She recalls Dodd's words about his feelings for Tristan. There's more between them than she realized. She resolves to stay close to him, if only to learn more. The scene shifts to the class assignment exam, designed to evaluate every aspect of a student's ability. Dodd is placed in the highest ranked group, thanks to his duel victory. Scanning the crowd, his eyes land on Elia, smiling at him. His thoughts turn serious. The exam isn't his biggest problem, it's her. He had just managed to push her away, yet here she is again, in the same group. The system sends him a notification. Elia's curiosity level has reached 5. He remembers a letter and snacks left for him the night before, wishing him luck. The announcement interrupts his thoughts. Group 1, it's your turn. He focuses, reminding himself not to overthink Elia's involvement, it's part of the main scenario. Just then, another system notification informs him of a character update. Elnor Tristan's trust level has reached 2. A character event is about to occur. Elnor steps forward, introducing herself as the exam's overseer. He's shocked. This doesn't feel like a coincidence. Her event was supposed to happen today, and now she's here. He thinks that if nothing happens, it'll be more than strange. The day before, professors at the academy discussed his victory. They decided that if he truly had such skill, he should be tested in the class exam, and gave authority to the student president. Now, Elnor stands before them, instructing students to follow her to the exam location. She says the questions will be revealed once they arrive. Many speculate a great deal of preparation went into this. Quietly, they follow her. As they enter the hallway, the lights suddenly go out. Darkness fills the area. The students are stunned. Elia, sensing something, asks Elnor if this is part of the test. Elnor remains silent. Dodd watches carefully. The entrance is sealed, and lights are gone. Then, a system notification appears. Elnor's event has begun. He suspects this isn't a test, it's a trap. Another notification follows. Event type, assassination attempt. Surviving members of the Grove still target her. He's instructed to protect her. Scanning the room, he notices students whispering, unsure what to do. Some consider leaving but remain uncertain. He suddenly realizes, these students are all part of the main character's core party. This is the scene where they all meet. He calmly suggests heading to the central hall. Others look at the map, surprised it's there. Dodd explains the hall likely has supplies and emergency gear, and more importantly, space to defend against an ambush. His words make the group take notice. He tells Elnor and Elia they must have felt it too, they're not alone. Then, he says he's going somewhere else. The group is surprised. Elia questions him seriously, asking why he'd leave. He responds calmly that it's necessary, though he can't explain yet. He promises to clarify later but insists this is the right move. Trusting him, they head to the central hall with Elnor. Dodd walks down a quiet hallway. Maybe Elnor's presence gave his words more weight. For now, he plans to stay hidden. The target is Elnor, not him. If he avoids attention, he'll be fine. But someone calls to him. A vaguely threatening man appears, claiming he's here to fix the power issue and asking Dodd to guide him, saying his vision is impaired. Just then, Dodd receives another system notification. A dangerous situation is detected. On the other side, under Elnor's leadership, the group reaches the Grand Hall. As soon as they arrive, one of the girls, visibly anxious, turns to Elia. Her voice trembles as she asks if Elia truly believes Dodd will be fine on his own. Elia remains calm and answers without hesitation. Whatever he's doing, there must be a reason, he wouldn't have gone off alone otherwise. Then, As if sensing something deeper, she adds that it's not just him they should be worried about. Something bad could just as easily happen to them. Meanwhile, down a hallway away from the others, Dodd leads the stranger forward. The man walks beside him, silently reflecting on how Elnor managed to eliminate the advance party. But he admits such a feat wouldn't have been possible if Dodd hadn't come here. Even the boy was fooled with little effort. As they walk, Dodd casually says the equipment room is just ahead. The man, a trained killer, evaluates Dodd's movements and quickly dismisses him as a rookie. There's no urgency, he decides he'll toy with him before killing him. Suddenly, Dodd turns and looks directly at him. Caught off guard, the man removes his mask and tells Dodd it's time he rewarded him. Dodd takes a breath and thanks God. Everything is going according to plan. The man is Hashmid. If it had been someone stronger, this could have gone wrong. Dodd feels genuine relief. He states that Hashmid's gait, subtle movements, and even his rhinitis confirm his identity. Hashmid doesn't understand what Dodd is talking about and feels a flicker of unease. Still, convinced Dodd is weak, he charges. Back in the Grand Hall, a different battle unfolds. A student in red cuts through an enemy. Around him, it's clear these enemies are weaker than expected. Elia gives an order, Palkas is told to freeze them. She's worried about Elnor. At the room's center, Elnor moves like a shadow. In one swing, 4 enemies slam into the wall, the stone cracking. She drags another and calmly asks if there are more deployed in the building. A mage completes a spell, freezing the rest in frost. The man under her blade panics and confesses everything. The name Hashmid of the Crescent Moon emerges. Elnor asks if he's inside the building. The man hesitates, then says he can't reveal that. She stomps his face into the ground and asks again, is the man posing as a student truly an ascension? Finally, he says yes, he came with them. Elia steps forward, asking who would go this far. Elnor answers simply, they tried to kill her. Hashmid is an ascension who can copy others after killing them. Then she asks, who would be the easiest target in this building? Elia thinks. Her thoughts drift toward Dodd. The realization hits, he used himself as bait. She doesn't understand why. He had no reason to risk himself, they were after Elnor. What is his relationship with her? Elnor speaks again. They're nothing to each other, or so she says. Elia doesn't respond. Far from them, Dodd and Hashmid fight. And now Hashmid is losing, badly. This shouldn't be happening. Hashmid, a trained killer, begins to panic. The Guardian Soul activation makes no sense. It only reacts to weapons, yet Dodd holds a wooden staff. Hashmid falls, body broken. His voice shakes as he speaks. He says Dodd used him, that he was just a pawn. No one really knows who Dodd is. The system responds, deadly charm activated. Hashmid realizes the truth. It wasn't chance. Dodd led him here. Hashmid tells him to finish it. Dodd quietly says he won't kill him. Hashmid is stunned. He demands to know why. Dodd says to spread the word, stay away from Lady Tristan. Remind them that even Hashmid barely survived. He doesn't know who sent the order, but if they try again, the gray demon inside Elnor might awaken. That must be avoided. Hashmid listens. Then, almost amused, he asks what Dodd will do if he returns. Dodd answers without hesitation, then try again. I'll be there too, protecting her. Hashmid asks if Lady Tristan is truly that important to him. Dodd looks at him steadily and says, yes. The system responds again, deadly charm activated. The villain's favorability rises sharply. As Dodd turns to walk away, he freezes. From the shadows, Elnor approaches, her eyes locked on him. The scene shifts inside the principal's office of the academy. She speaks, voice serious and warning, telling Elnor that she understands why the chancellor is outraged. The situation has spiraled out of control, and yet somehow they're expected to track down the perpetrators immediately. She admits a chilling possibility, this isn't just mismanagement or coincidence. The details surrounding the assassination attempt, the timing, the path chosen, all suggest the presence of a spy, someone on the inside. Elnor listens quietly. The woman continues, saying she knows political attacks against her are becoming routine. They're committed. Elnor gives a small nod. The woman's tone grows heavier. She confesses that something about this attack feels different. There's structure to it, a certainty. Whoever arranged it will strike again. And yet, all the students involved with her during the incident have received formal recognition, except for one. She frowns. The one anomaly is Daud Campbell. Despite being present, he's received no commendation, no recognition, and no explanation. She says it feels like he's deliberately avoiding attention from the Academy's upper staff. Elnor, still composed, agrees quietly. She's thought the same. Irritated, she grabs a nearby cup and hurls it toward her. She demands to know what her problem is. Still seated, still composed, Elnor simply asks what she means. The woman's tone shifts. She says Elnor's been disconnected all day, her focus lost, her thoughts elsewhere. With a serious expression, she says she doesn't know what's going on inside her, but unless Elnor explains, she's done helping her. Then Elnor finally speaks. She thinks she's become interested in someone. That surprises the woman. Her brows rise as she leans forward, asking what exactly she means. The woman stares, then asks in disbelief if she actually likes that country bumpkin. Elnor answers firmly that she never said that. Not yet. That one word, yet, stuns the woman even more. She stares at her like she's grown another head. She mutters that she has no idea what he could have possibly done to catch Elnor's attention. She wonders what Archduke Tristan would say if he heard about this. Still, Elnor doesn't waver. She says clearly that she does not fancy Dodd, but the woman's face shows she doesn't believe a word of it. Her expression says she's convinced Elnor is lying to herself. She's a daughter of House Tristan. She has to be careful. Elnor agrees softly. The scene changes. Inside a quiet room, Dodd lies on his bed, a letter clutched tightly in his hand. The letter explains that no class can be assigned to him yet. The academic team is still analyzing the situation to find the most suitable placement. He frowns. Then, with a frustrated breath, he clutches his head. He doesn't want any of it. He wishes they would just dump him into some low-profile, worthless class and be done with it. Then a notification appears before him. The system message announces the completion of the first main quest. Additional information has been unlocked. His new objective: resolve the incident that will occur during the freshman reception ceremony. The reward: exclusive equipment materials upon success. He focuses. The freshman reception ceremony, that's the moment when classes are finally revealed. Every role, every specialization from archer to priest, is determined there. The system has confirmed it. His future build depends entirely on his training choices. He considers this. If he focuses on swordsmanship, then he'll aim for physical strength. By specializing in raw power, the system will tailor his rewards to match. But there's still one glaring problem. Another notification flashes. This one shows Elnor's character details. Her trust level has surpassed level 5 and affection has temporarily increased. A reward is now available. She is listed as a notable figure. Upon her emotional shift, a special event will be triggered. The countdown is 3 days. Another message follows immediately. Elia's interest level is also at 5. Her emotional change nears. She too is flagged for a special event. And the timing is also 3 days. He closes his eyes. It's all happening at once. The final boss, the protagonist, the main quest. It's all converging. Then one more notification. The gift reward from Elnor has been received, a skill duplication pass. He stares at it, stunned. The ability to copy a skill is beyond broken. He almost laughs at how ridiculous it sounds. He thinks about using it to steal a final boss's power. He regains his calm. No, not now. Using it would be a waste. Elnor and he may be strong now, but they're only going to grow more powerful. When they gain their true absurd abilities, that's when he'll strike. For now, patience is key. Night cloaks the sky in black. Inside an old equipment warehouse, he walks carefully. A mask covers his eyes. Each step is measured. He inhales slowly. The point store is more useful than anyone could imagine. SR tryhards once called this the ultimate treasure farming spot. After bypassing every security measure, he's finally here. He begins searching. The system notifies him again. A stamina recovery biscuit, but he has a hunch it might work. He presses forward after scavenging through crates and forgotten piles. He starts collecting what he came for. Almost everything is already in his possession. All that's left now is the most important item. He digs deeper. Finally, he finds it buried under layers of old equipment. The ultima of divinity, a burner pulsing with ancient strength said to contain power sealed for 1,000 years. Relief floods him. He holds it close, quietly, thankful. Then he sees movement. A mountain of equipment trembles nearby. Pebbles fall. Then, from within the shifting clutter, a girl collapses. He rushes to her without hesitation. It's Yuria. He lifts her. His mind races. Yuria is also known as the Grey Haunter. Chapter 2's boss, the cursed sword goddess. It hits him then. The ultima of divinity. This warehouse, it's hers. That's why she's here. Before he can do anything more, a faint glow surrounds her. In the blink of an eye, she breaks free. A sudden system warning strikes him. Lethal threat detected. Another follows. Desperate survival mode activated. X rank. His instincts kick in, trying to explain, to apologize, to say he didn't mean to wake her. But it's too late. In a flash, the chain attached to her sword hilt spins through the air, aimed directly at him. He throws himself back. The chain misses by inches. Had he stayed still, he would have died on the spot. The ability she just used, encircling long, makes it impossible for him to get close. Even if he wanted to counter, he wouldn't have the range. And even if he had the range, the power disparity is too overwhelming. His body still trembles from residual pain. Eventually, he raises his hands in a quiet gesture of surrender, trying to ease the tension. He tries to explain that it's all a misunderstanding. She doesn't listen. Her chained weapon spins at a constant rhythm, its blade gouging into the ground with each rotation. He keeps defending himself, struggling to buy time. But before long, she drives him into a corner. There's no exit left behind him. Then comes the final move. She hurls her chain blade with blinding speed. He relies purely on instinct. Just as the blade's tip is about to hit him, it halts in midair. She narrows her eyes, puzzled. Eventually, she retracts the weapon. He already knows why. It's the curse, the boundary of 3.5 steps. Any opponent who steps within that cursed radius is destined to lose. But the condition works both ways. She herself cannot move beyond that range. That's the binding placed upon her by the weapon she carries. She grips her sword tightly. She questions whether he has the courage to take a single step forward. He doesn't answer immediately. He wonders aloud if that's what she wants, to provoke him into stepping forward so she can end it. Realization dawns on him. He can't escape. He has no other route. The place they stand in is her space, cut off from others. She has been left alone here, with nothing but her weapon and her silence. Then a small moment, he suddenly asks if she wants a biscuit. He extends his hand, holding out a few stamina recovery cookies. She studies him. The hostility doesn't vanish, but it's no longer escalating. She responds with suspicion, questioning whether he thinks food can bribe her. Without speaking again, he tosses one of the biscuits toward her. She moves. She dashes after it and acts almost mechanical in its speed. A thought stirs in his mind. Maybe she really couldn't communicate while hungry. He had come dangerously close to dying. She asks who he is and why he came. He hesitates. The truth is sharp and ugly. He came to steal, but he can't say that. So instead, he tells her he was sent to bring her food, that someone he knows asked him to look after her. This answer catches her attention. She begins to question who that someone is. He chooses silence where it matters. He then speaks again, telling her not to worry. Her sister is safe in the Holy Empire. That sentence changes her expression completely. Her eyes widen. He continues, telling her that for now the Emperor isn't paying attention to them, but it won't stay that way forever. She needs to remain hidden. He assures her of that, and then he walks away. She hails from the Holy Empire. Her presence in Elefante is due to an explicit order from the Holy Emperor. The sword she wields is infamous across continents, believed to be of demonic origin. She isn't just its wielder. She is its vessel. And because of that, she is cursed and bound by the 3.5 step rule. This is why he believes it is necessary for someone like her to be reminded that family still exists, that she hasn't been forgotten entirely. The day rolls forward. The following morning, all students gather atop a high cliff that overlooks the academy sprawl. Before them stands a professor named Elia. Elia then informs them that the freshman reception ceremony is just a few days away. On that day, every student will be required to choose both a major and a minor. The education given at the Furnace of Battle and the Great Temple is the same as what they're receiving now. As Dodd stands in the crowd, he doesn't speak. He listens with quiet focus. He knows this is a tutorial event, a designed segment to explain the mechanics and world structure. After a while, another student steps forward and points at the horizon. He asks whether that glowing land in the distance is the White Zone. Elia pauses. She reflects. Then she confirms that yes, it is the White Zone. She warns everyone that it is a forbidden region. Entry without authorization will bring punishment. Dodd's gaze lingers. That place is not ordinary. It is where the divine clashed with the damned, heaven and hell, gods and demons. Messengers and warriors empowered by the divine sealed the demons there. Even now, centuries later, the tension between death and divinity still pulses in the air. This is why the Holy Empire, the tribal aliens, and the Empire forged a pact with the Golden Triangle to monitor the area constantly. As he reflects on this, another student asks whether they're allowed to go there just to take a look. Elia responds with clarity. It's permissible to walk near the border, just inside the Seraph's protective barrier. Beyond that, it's unsafe. Dodd smiles faintly. He's already thinking ahead. The planned excursion is meant to go from half launch and back. Eventually, the students reach the designated spot. Elia announces that they'll eat lunch here. Dodd stays quiet. The divine protection is what makes this proximity possible. He eventually walks to her, asking politely if he may eat alone. He explains that he feels uncomfortable around the others. She studies him. She's aware of the whispers, of what others have been saying about him. She gives him a warning not to go too far, it could be dangerous. Dodd nods and walks away. Some students mutter, sneering. They think the country boy is getting full of himself. Unbothered, Dodd begins to set up. His preparations are methodical. Finally, he lights them. A violet smoke begins to rise. He blows on it sharply and the smoke grows denser, the scent sharper. He feels something. Realization creeping in. As he begins to wonder whether he's missed something, the magic activates. A presence thickens around him. The object hums softly. Then it becomes clear. This is why he came. This is the access point. Suddenly, the world in front of him erupts. A radiant burst of light blinds the area. And he hears a voice echo through the veil, asking aloud where the allied forces are. Before he can form a response, another voice breaks in with a sharp tone, pointing out that instead of leveling the ground as instructed, someone merely dug a drain and left. Immediately after, the first voice returns, now directing its words toward another figure, noting that the Jirian group has once again been blamed for the mess. Their attention shifts entirely to him, standing just nearby, observing them. For a brief moment, they simply stare at him. Confusion spreads among them, and they begin to murmur, puzzled by his presence and behavior. The angels begin returning to their tasks. One attempts to take a brief rest, only to be met with irritation from his partner, who scolds him and demands to know why his shovel isn't moving. Both resume work quickly, although one of them grins, amused that he is still watching. A voice from the side barks out an instruction, insisting that the task is not yet finished and that they should stop digging inward and begin spreading the soil outward. A truck rolls into the area. The angel in the driver's seat announces the arrival of the holy mud bricks and urges everyone to start unloading quickly. Voices rise in response, asking how many bricks there are. The driver replies bluntly, they're practically infinite. In another corner, a bald angel raises his voice, scolding the others and demanding they observe how hard their seniors are working. A curly-haired angel, flustered, jumps into action to catch up. A younger angel passes a brick to his captain and asks innocently if the food shipment has arrived yet. The captain apologizes, explaining that the delivery vehicle broke down and is under repair. For now, they'll have to wait. Dodd watches from his place apart, still taking in the bizarre turn of events. He fixes his gaze on one of the junior angels and starts to understand why angels do not simply descend whenever they want. It becomes increasingly clear to him that these beings operate under a strict order. Their world is a military system, disciplined, hierarchical, and bound by chains of command. Lost in these thoughts, he is suddenly faced with a large spread of food placed before him. There's a variety of items, more than he had expected. Gratitude stirs in him, and he quietly thanks the angels in his heart. As he begins to eat, he notices whispers rising among them. They are surprised he is still watching them so intently. They begin speculating about what he might have brought and are amazed at how much he is eating. A few start eyeing the food with longing, murmuring among themselves about asking for a little. Dodd observes this dynamic with quiet calm. He speaks in a measured tone, advising them to eat first before tiring themselves out with more labor. His words reach them clearly and the offering transfers. The food appears in the hands of the angels. Eventually, their captain grants a short 10-minute break. The angels dig into the meal eagerly. Watching their reactions, Dodd thinks to himself how different the laws of this world are, and how his single portion is enough to feed all of them. Their captain then turns his attention to him and gestures toward the thurible in his hand. He recognizes its importance and offers to bless it. He asks him what he would like in return, as long as it is within reason. He promises to do his best to grant it. Dodd is taken aback. There's been no formal negotiation, no exchange of cards, no strategy from his side, and yet the blessing is offered so freely. He had prepared detailed plans for such an event. Now it is unfolding effortlessly. The captain senses his thoughts. He looks at him with calm clarity and tells him that perhaps it is insight that matters here, the ability to see the nature of things just by looking. He adds that he has an ability he hasn't developed yet and it would benefit him greatly to invest in it. Dodd considers this in silence. He wonders if the captain is referring to the trait known as great, loved by evil. The angel confirms this indirectly. He states that the gift is far stronger than he realizes and how it is used will be up to him. It is because of this gift, he explains, that a cruel yet strangely kind being has become interested in him. The blessing is completed. Dodd thanks the angel sincerely. Dodd, having witnessed it all, begins to think again. He wonders about the meaning behind it all. The phrase cruel yet friendly seems unclear to him. He feels unsure why they call him a great human, but the captain seems to sense his uncertainty. With a composed tone, he tells him to believe in himself. At the very least, the captain already believes in him. As those words settle in, the divine light around them dims, fading softly. Dodd is left behind in serious contemplation. He reminds himself of the truth. He's not chasing glory. He's trying to survive. The angel's advice echoes in his thoughts and he chooses to take it seriously. He opens his system interface wanting to see what blessing he has received. There it is, ultima of divinity C+, a divine gift from the higher beings of this realm. It contains two core abilities. The first is aestheticism C. It lets him convert excess conditions into temporary constitution using a small amount of mana. The second is protective shield. It consumes a little mana to generate a single-use shield that boosts constitution. He studies both carefully. They're useful. Constitution ties to survival, and his unique condition improves his other stats through survival. These gifts are valuable, but one problem remains: mana. Even the smallest amount is out of reach for now. He has no traits connected to it. That's the reality. So, he makes his decision. Until he can use mana, he will rely entirely on strategic planning. That was the whole reason he came here in the first place. The scene shifts. He now stands among the students at the academy. Though quiet, his mind is racing. He is turning over strategies again and again. Someone approaches him. The person comments with a smirk about Dodd's habit of ignoring others. Dodd steadily responds that he has been listening the whole time. The other student is taken aback and asks what exactly he heard. Dodd replies calmly he heard everything, including the mention of a two-person team. The man grows more serious and demands whether he even knows what that means. He looks around and asks where his partner is. Dodd answers without hesitation that his partner will arrive soon. The man laughs, mocking the idea. He questions who would willingly partner with someone like him. But Dodd stays composed and confident. He explains that while his partner may not be famous, she is on her way. At that exact moment, Elia arrives. She strides up to the man and asks him about the monster research department. Dodd watches her silently. He hadn't planned to engage with the main characters so early, but after hearing the Archangel's words, his strategy shifted. She sees him and is visibly surprised. He asks her with honesty whether the offer she made earlier to get to know each other still stands. She stops, staring at him intently. Memories flood her. She recalls his admiration for Elnor and how she had once questioned her about it. Elnor had dismissed it without concern. Now, seeing him hold his hand out to her, she falls into deep thought. Every tactic she used failed. And now he's employing the very approach that awakens jealousy, the same one she had considered dangerous. She stares at him in silence, stunned by how mistaken he is in his quiet hope. The scene shifts to the Academy's mock dungeon, where Elia questions Dodd, asking if he's truly certain about this plan. Dodd responds with confidence, urging Elia to have faith in him. He reminds her that she once said she wanted to be friends with him. Dodd continues, "If you still want to be friends after that, then you should do what I say." Dodd instructs Elia to move towards 9 o'clock, warning her that 3 monsters are approaching. Elia follows Dodd's directions and successfully defeats the enemies. Then Dodd alerts her that 2 more monsters are descending from the ceiling. 2 bat-like creatures begin to swoop down, and Dodd quickly informs Elia that their weak point is their neck. She should aim for their bodies rather than their wings. Elia executes the plan, striking down the bats. Frustrated, she demands that Dodd stop bossing her around and come help, but Dodd calmly refuses. "No," he says before explaining that 2 daggers will soon fly at her from the left and right. "You can deflect them. Just hold out for 10 seconds. Hearing this, Elia blocks the incoming daggers. Dodd compliments her performance, then warns that a paralytic poison is about to be released from a device on her right. She should break it. Although Elia grumbles, she obeys. Next, Dodd tells her to dodge 3 arrows coming from his direction, instructing her to stay in place. He begins a countdown from 3. After that, he alerts her of an attack coming from behind. Shocked, Elia spins around and narrowly blocks a strike from a golem. Angrily, she says, "If you knew all this, wouldn't it be faster if you helped me instead?" Dodd remains silent, but his thoughts reveal the truth. He wants to help, but he can't. He's merely an extra with frank stats across the board. His skill, Desperate Survival, only activates in life-threatening situations. But this mock dungeon is filled with artificial beasts executing pre-programmed actions. There's no real danger here, and his ability is useless. Since Desperate Survival isn't an all-powerful skill, Dodd must raise his stats quickly. Elia, still fuming, charges toward him sarcastically, calling him Master Dodd. Dodd wonders if he's been too harsh, but then Elia slays a monster that was about to ambush him from behind. He's taken aback. At that moment, the system announces that Elia has achieved an incredible feat. She has broken the previous record. Surprised, Elia asks Dodd what just happened. "I fought alone, and this stage is meant for 2. How did I break a record?" Dodd silently reflects that despite appearances, he's a tryhard when it comes to this game. Out loud, he brushes it off, saying, "We just got lucky." He then warns her that the next area will be tougher, but encourages her to keep going. Elia looks even more frustrated. Meanwhile, in another room, someone is watching their progress. The observer comments, "They're doing pretty well." This figure is revealed to be Percy, the Dean of Spellcraft. Percy remarks that she might need to allocate more funding to mock battles next year. She then turns to Conrad, asking for his thoughts. Conrad inquires if the dungeon was designed by the department. Another professor nervously confirms that it was. Conrad notes, "Then I must have gotten lucky. The one I've been watching closely is doing well." Percy assumes he's referring to Elia, but Conrad corrects her. "Not Elia. I'm talking about Daud Campbell." Percy looks surprised. Dodd. He's a con artist. Isn't he just riding the coattails of the warrior candidate? Conrad disagrees. She would have never broken that record on her own. When Percy presses him, asking why he's suddenly picking a fight, Conrad explains, anyone can see Elia is strong in taking the lead. But Dodd is the key. His partner's positioning, the way he issues commands at perfect timing, his ability to follow up, every move he makes shows impeccable judgment. Conrad silently thinks that Dodd's actions seem almost too perfect, as if he's fought through thousands of battles before. He then proposes a bet. Picking up the microphone, Conrad introduces himself to Dodd and Elia, saying he has taken an interest in their performance. He adds that he and Percy, the Dean of Spellcraft, have decided to make a wager. The bet, Conrad explains, is whether or not the 2 of you can break the record we set back when we were freshmen. If you succeed, you'll earn the right to make one request of Dean Percy. Hearing this, Percy grows frustrated and wonders why Conrad would go to such lengths. Nevertheless, Conrad turns to Dodd and Elia, stating that if they feel pressured, he won't force them to proceed. "Your current achievement is already an incredible feat," he says. "This request is nearly impossible to begin with." However, Dodd responds confidently, "Obviously. I can handle that much." Elia, caught off guard by his assurance, looks at him in surprise. Seeing Dodd's unwavering confidence, Percy becomes visibly irritated. Conrad, undeterred, declares that he's placing his bet on Dodd and Elia's success. And with that, the test begins. The scene shifts to a training ground where a brown-haired woman addresses Elnor. "I get that you come here to clear your head," she says, "but lately, you've been overdoing it. Is something wrong?" Elnor, panting, simply asks the woman for some water. As the woman hands her a bottle, Elnor explains, "There's something I've been trying to remember." Curious, the woman asks, "What is it you're trying to recall?" "When I was a child," Elnor begins, "my mother taught me these moves. I can't remember them clearly, so I've been going through them again from the start." As Elnor drinks, her mind wanders. A demon lives in the Tristan bloodline. This dark rumor, passed down in whispers, bears 2 interpretations. Is it something serious? The woman asks gently. Elnor shakes her head. "It's nothing to worry about. I don't think much of it now." "If you say so," the woman replies, trailing off for a moment before adding, "Then I guess I can go ahead and tell you. Why are you being so hesitant?" Elnor asks. I told you. Nothing's going to bother me right now. The woman hesitates no longer. Daud Campbell is currently working under the next term's warrior candidate. That grabs Elnor's attention. The woman continues, I'm talking about Elia Crescent. The same girl who fought Dodd earlier. You mean those two teamed up? Elnor asks, narrowing her eyes. The woman nods. Most likely because the mock battles require teams of two. Elnor lets out a long breath and turns her gaze toward the horizon. Take me to them. The woman looks puzzled. Wait, didn't you just say you don't think anything of it? The scene shifts to the mock battle dungeon where Elia asks Dodd what he plans to do. She acknowledges that while Dodd is clearly skilled, challenging the all-time record seems excessive. Is it really worth it? She questions. Dodd responds simply, yes. Elia, taken aback by his self-confidence, asks if he has a solid reason for doing this. Dodd, thinking to himself, knows he can't tell her the real reason, that artificial monsters follow consistent movement patterns, making it easier to target their weak points. Instead, he looks at her and says, because you're here with me. Elia scoffs. I can't believe you. Just then, Conrad asks if they're ready. Dodd replies confidently, we've been ready. Conrad informs them that the difficulty level of the final section can be adjusted. Without hesitation, Dodd tells him to set it to the highest level. Percy, now clearly frustrated, mutters that she can't believe these freshmen. Still, Dodd insists there's value in taking the risk. Conrad agrees and initiates the challenge. Dodd turns to Elia. Don't be nervous, he tells her. We're just getting started. Back in the professor's room, Percy sips her tea, visibly annoyed. I can't believe Conrad, she mutters. Conrad chuckles. You're acting like this is new. Didn't we do the same thing with our last freshman class? Percy replies, that was entirely different. These students could get seriously hurt. Conrad remains calm. We'll see. I'm sure Dodd has a reason for his confidence. And if it gets too dangerous, we'll step in and save them. Inside the dungeon, the monsters rush Dodd and Elia in unison. The highest level has been activated. Conrad announces, time to prove yourselves. Frustrated but determined, Elia yells, let's go, Dodd. Dodd then receives a system notification, danger detected. As the monsters close in, another window pops up. Threat level, classified as life-threatening. Instantly, Dodd activates his skill and, with one clean strike, takes down a monster. That's it, Conrad shouts. That's what I was waiting for. Did you see that? Percy is stunned by his outburst. Watching Dodd in action, Elia thinks to herself, I knew it. He had a plan all along. Percy, shocked, mutters, so, he was pretending earlier. Dodd then charges forward with incredible speed, taking down monsters one after another. I don't blame you, Conrad tells Percy. I'd have reacted the same if I hadn't seen Dodd's transformation myself. As the battle progresses, both the monsters and Dodd will continue evolving. They'll grow together. Percy is left speechless. We then see Elia and Dodd fighting side by side. Elia gets pushed back by a powerful strike but manages to block it. She calls out to Dodd. He immediately responds, leaping into the air and using the Tristan sword technique, level. With multiple swift strikes, he defeats the monster. Suddenly, an announcement rings out. Congratulations, Daud Campbell and Elia Crescent. You have broken the all-time record. But the celebration is short-lived. A surviving monster rises behind Dodd, preparing to strike. At the last second, Conrad intervenes, taking the monster down and saving Dodd. It looks like Dodd has set an unbreakable record, one that may last for years, Conrad says. Who would have thought a freshman could clear Elfonte's artificial monsters like they were nothing? Elia lights up upon seeing Professor Conrad. He congratulates her on her effort, and Percy arrives shortly after. Conrad turns to her with a smirk. Looks like I won. Percy, annoyed, mutters, must be nice. Later that day, Dodd and Elia receive a document entitling them to rent one item from the Vision Warehouse and granting them the right to request a favor from the Dean of Spellcraft. Elia is amazed. Dodd, however, downplays it, saying, isn't this something any freshman can access? Elia shakes her head. I've noticed something about you, Dodd. No matter what happens, you always seem calm, like you already know how everything is going to play out. It's like you've planned it all in advance. Dodd doesn't respond. Internally, he admits the truth. Of course, I already know how all of this unfolds. Elia then extends her fist. Don't guys always do this with their friends? She asks with a grin. They bump fists and a window appears. Elia's curiosity stage has reached level 5, nearing trustworthy stage. As Elia turns to leave, she says with a smile, "See you tomorrow, Dodd." Watching her go, Dodd reflects. I don't know if she's just being friendly or if she's just odd. At that very moment, he's caught off guard. Elnor appears, having come to meet him.